Yeah, yeah. Well, I hadn't listened to it, but get this right. I pop over my computer and there's a CD in there from like 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago in my PC, and it's the old AVO thing. I just had enough. Like that's how much. Every time I open up my computer to put a CD in, it's always like people trying to like archive me. And, I popped open my computer and there was an AVO CD in there from 5 years ago. Like, you get what I'm saying? And I was putting in the new one that I had from now, and it's like, oh shit, there's nothing that can play it. I'll put it in the computer, and when I open it up, it's like one that was from fucking 5 years ago. The only thing that had been in my computer, and it was sitting in there for 5 years. And yeah, just see an AVO CD, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, because I was putting in the new one that I got, because I had a list I got caught this week, so I've got to go to court. And yeah, it's like, man, it's just funny, man. It's not fun. Nah, it's just like, out of all the things there, I'm like having like discipline moment, getting budging in, getting there, and you open up the computer, and the only ever like noose hanging around your neck, and it's like that's the only other thing that was in there was an old noose. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so it's like, yeah, you got this was today. Yeah. Yeah, I'm on a stream, man. And what ended up happening was I listened to it. No, get this right. I finally listened to it. I've already been to court twice. So I haven't even listened to this thing. And I go to court, uh, and then I pull it up and I listen to it, and she says something pretty serious, bro. Jess, yeah, she's Jess on the police doco. She says that I'm coming to murder her, and it's just, bro, that's what it is. Like someone's scared I'm coming to murder them, so they come and lock me up. You get what I'm saying? You see how like the speech is just non-uni. This is nothing. I've been to court 3 times. I'm going back to court again. I never even realized that it was such a serious thing that I'm being actually on trial for murder. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm on trial for. I'm on trial like as if yeah, man. That's what I'm getting at, Jim. There's speech and you get what I mean? Like, I'm getting judged for things that me hypothetical fucking words. Nothing. I live out here in the middle of fucking nowhere. Did you get nothing? Nothing. She goes into she says that she's afraid that I'm gonna come and, you know, finish the job or something. And I never said nothing of the sort. You know what I mean? All I was doing was just trying to relay, but you got to remember, this is at the same time of the police. It was the stimulus that was going around for the domestic violence, and she was at a crux for coin at that present time after a vacation holiday overseas, bro. So here I am, oblivious to the skies, just wandering around, risking me heart and soul to reach out, have a go, because it's breaking me to pieces. And needless to say, they use it and they turn it into a weapon and forge it into a this thing now, man. Come on, man. I've been to court 4 times. I've been fucking in and out. They locked me up over what? Because I said that um you know I was just talking about resolutions. The worst case scenario. We don't want things going back, and we finish the problems that weren't finished. You know what I mean? I said something like that, and then this is what I'm getting at, bro. It's nothing, but that's the thing. See, there's it's I haven't got any response off the woman in 10 years. What you think you want to get a little tiny little bit of response? Something might, or is she gonna? You get what I'm saying? Like you get what I'm saying? It's not, Jim. This is on record now. It's on live. They could be listening and listening to what you're saying. Oh, it's a threat and shit. You're a fucking real mate, bro. You're not, mate. You're not right in your head going on them lines, bro. You're not. You're challenging me fucking whole efficacy. I know what I said, mate. I know what I said. This is what. See what you're doing? You're doing exactly what they're doing, bro. You're doing exactly the same. You're one of them because you're doing it. No, there's no way they rule things right or they rule things wrong, mate. And there's only the right. And I never did nothing wrong. Prove me of any sin. Yeah, I just get a little bit pissed off about it, bro. Sorry. It really gets me angry because, I'm going to court like I'm a murderer. I don't, well, I didn't even know. I'm thinking it's just because it's like, some little tiny thing. Yeah. But this isn't even the worst thing. This, no, I never said nothing like that. I never said nothing like that. Nothing. Nothing. I never alluded to anything. I was alluding to the problems that we had at the court. You want to go back to the problems back at the court? That's all I was alluding to. Nah, nah. Anyway, what else? What ended up happening was, yeah, this is what I don't want to tell you what I say, mate, because you twist it around in all these fucking directions. They're just so crooked and not straight. You get what I mean? Listen, I've explained it to you. I've shared me information. I'm not after your Job counsel. I'm after just the spirit of truth. Now, listen. When Job was in his suffering, his mates were trying to give him all their truth and whatnot. It didn't sit well with him until the Lord spoke. That's my situation. It's 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 Yeah, yeah. Nah, you're right. Anyway, the main thing about it was she goes on the thing on the CD. She says, they say, is it a co-parenting? Um, is it a co-parenting thing? And then I was like, then that's what sticks with me. You get what I mean? Is because you see, any rational, any um, any proper, any direct, any mature, or you see, like it's taken on like it's just something that I have to suck in and die with that and let go. You get what I mean? I'm happy with all that. That's fine. But then she says, she gets onto the thing about um, the kids have um, opportunity to see me, but they don't want to because it's hard and that. And then I'm sitting back, like, well, that in itself is designed as a trigger. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like, well, she was sewing in a little bit of Inception there to try and cause some sort of retaliation. You see, like, well, what else would you say something so sinister and so disheartening and reckless? You know what I mean? Even as an utterance, uh, you know, oh, the kids have given the choice, but then they've never given any opportunity to see me in any regards. You see, this is the whole thing. And then she says, she says, yeah, it's a Stockholm syndrome. It's like full Stockholm syndrome. Alienating the father, pretend they don't exist, um, destroy him out of the alienate him, destroy him out of all fucking their mind of existence, captivate the kids. The kids get happy with their victors. They get the Stockholm syndrome. They never want to go back to their real parent. You get what I'm saying? Like it's a complete and utter, like, how can you even describe what the suffering that I'm facing through this whole ordeal of not having a mentally sane, equipped second half that was able to understand that I had needs and a responsibility and a connection to the children just as much as anyone else ever could or ever would love them to the utter end of the eternity and give my very life and existence to the point that yes, it does crush you and solely deplete you and deprive you of all life every day for years and years and years of your existence until finally that death and that breath may come to an end. And then the hope still has to remain that you will see your children. It's just one of them things. You either could just go out and lay in a pit and people will just continually run over you and run over you until your sores scab and bleed and the dogs lick them. And I've been down in the dog lick, and I've been down in the sores, and I've been down in all that, and it's you can only live so so deprived of life and away from truth and that way for so long, until you come back and you got to say, you know, there's more to life in letting the the bad people bring you down. You don't ever have to become like them. The importance is that you become who you're meant to be. And as long as I've become who I've meant to be, then I know that the destiny of my family is going to be stronger in the long run because I know that I am the strongest man that I could ever be. you know, Having to face so many things, child abortion and then even having to witness her lose her brother would have been a devastating reality. You see, her brother got murdered not after long that she separated with me. So, of course, the new relationship was a real clause of toleration and tolerant. Can you imagine the tolerances and all the things that exist in that? You gotta bear the grief. If she comes over to my house and she collapses into me mum's arms. That's you see what I'm saying? She's got no problem coming into our embrace and falling into our arms and being carried, but she just doesn't know what it is when they're not. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to return the same in that in the gesture of that generosity. It really just rips you apart. But that's a beautiful thing, mate. Is we'll get through it. We'll get through it. Yeah, bud. No, you're right. Your brother's there. All good. All good, bro. All good. Oh, just going on about, it's just interesting how life flows, man. I've come to, I've been ready to move on. It's just been, yeah, bro. Yeah, they're cutthroat. Exactly. You train someone up, they snake you. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That's right. Defending your name. That's right. I couldn't be lucky being single right now, bro. You get what I'm saying? I couldn't even be luckier being single. You know what I mean? I'm almost at the level where you get a pick of a bunch. You know what I mean? I'm I'm almost at that level where you get the pick of the bunch. Like I went out to the show, I'm already got hit up by four girls. You know what I mean? Like it's going good for me. I don't need to worry about women anymore. You know, you couldn't even. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least I'm happy. You know what I mean? Like, how good is that? That I could go out and I'm getting approached still. Uh, they just got it's a boost of confidence. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm just jumping on anything. I just, just like the Zohan now. I do got to do help people. There's them ones that until the thing hits. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of these old farm ladies out here, bro. That want some guy my age to inherit everything. I wouldn't even care, man. I'll go out with an old lady. Going out with the old ladies out here, I don't care. If she's 50, it's a bit harder to get that, I'm close to 40, 45, I guess. Nah, I don't mind, bro. I'll go to 50. It's no problem. Yeah, that's right, bro. Yeah, you just know. You should know, I guess. That's the thing, bro. Is just don't come to false assumptions in your life. You know where I'm going, right? It's just get over the facts. People just haven't got that renewal. It's, it's a lack, bro. The last thing I remember is my son running up to the door and her locking him out, stopping him coming up. I went in there the night before. I was on the tiles and I'm there gliding around like a little worm, letting the kids jump on. You know how little kids like to jump on your back and that, jump on you. You know what I mean? So he's my son, but yeah, obviously she had him around other men and things, and whatever. But you know what I mean? It's one of them things. I went out with a prostitute. She had kids after the fact. Like, that's a different. The shit I've had to go through is completely different. It's like raising kids to a prostitute and not being treated as a dad, but also taking on dad responsibilities. It's a whole nother. Yeah, you just don't. You couldn't even bear like So, I remember my son running up to the door, and he was muscular. He was fit. He's good eyes on him, smile, and healthy looking skin. So, you know, nice complexion, hair complexion, handsome, so even though he's only 1.5 years old when tragedy struck, and it's just, you bear that slate, because, I loved him to the very edge of the earth. You spend all that time with your kids, 3 years with Elodie, 3.5 years, and it's all you know. It's the entire world. Joining on the marriage, you say that's significant to me, something I wouldn't have betrayed. You know what I'm going? It's just that's how like, there would have been up and downs. There would have been a few hurdles here and there, but it's, I've committed. I'm having kids. Yeah, I fucked up once myself. I bore it. You know what I mean? You you bear it, and then you know for that you never will do that again. You don't cheat. You don't want to be cheated on. You don't cheat. You just you learn out of that. You know what I mean? Like it's just because is this day and age we were entering into this new media frenzy. It's like now you never had the opportunity to get the most beautiful girl in the world, but now you can sort of have a go at it. You know what I mean? Like it's same with girls. They can have their range, their options, and how it all sort of elevated from the old. Remember the traditional old fashioned, even though how we were old fashioned. You know where I'm going. You know what I mean? All them old fashioned ones and then all of a sudden, yeah, I'm just saying that it's not to say that everyone hadn't been affected, bro. Because all I see now, bro, is just people that have just been through trains of sexual interaction, and it's a bit disturbing, really. Bro, the people that I know, they've slept with over hundreds and thousands of people. It's just disgusting to me. I can't even get over it. Just you get what I'm saying? Like that's what you could imagine that the full just like hundreds or thousands is what I was getting at. Hundreds or thousands. Yeah, well you get where I'm going. No, like what about the girls that I'm friends with on my social media, bro? Like, yeah, well I wouldn't say that it's all yeah. Well, there's just people with that romantic sexual factuation of well, if I when I'm a kid, I did have high sex drive. It's in me. It's in me. Like, oh, absolutely, my sex drive is thriving. Like compared to getting over all the emotional hardship and trauma and all that shit that I went through. Yeah, but it takes a long time. Yeah, yeah. Oh, what? Don't get me wrong. I like to get up and dance and dance and dance and David danced naked. Yeah, exactly. Have you ever heard the saying David danced naked with all his might before the Lord? You see, and you got to understand that's a spectacle. You see, naked. You got to remember in the realm of nakedness, in the spectrum of these lights as well. You see how the glory unfolds. It revelates. You see, it's all right for David to get up there and dance to his full heart. That he's full out of breath and can't move anymore, and he even strips full naked and runs around and in front of his whole kingdom, and everyone sees and that, and then he goes back and sleeps in the king's chamber at night when his wife's in looking through the window and she's like pissed off with him and that. So he wakes up the next morning and the show is that David's wife is pissed off with him. Everybody, you get what I'm saying? That's what it's getting at. You get what I mean? Like it's like yeah, that's it's a funny thing. Like God gets angry at his wife for being pissed off at him for running around naked. Yeah, what? How does that work out? God is pissed off with his wife for being the one that's angry. You know what I mean? When you look at it in that view, Jim, you get what I'm saying? Like, why? And you get all these people getting up dancing now, and like it's unimaginable. You have beauty at your fingertips. It's there, but yeah, it's a hyperextension of impulse. You used to watch cover magazines and things like that to stimulate, potential. You know what I mean? And latent potential in boosting them stimulants and things. But now it's more like, yeah, that's right. Uh, It's yeah, you could grab onto one woman and you could just love her and love her and love her on a magazine. You know what I mean? This is where I'm going. Or there's you got the other guys that would take the whole magazine and they would love every girl in the magazine. It's like yeah. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. And exactly how I perceive it is myself is along that line of what the doors God opens, no man can shut. You see, even though I went through that with Jess, and it was well. First off, let's just go to your first love. You know, and you ever had a first love? Can you? Is your memory that in depth that you remember your first love? You know, and even your first love can fade from sight for your second love that you can perceive to be your first. You know what I mean, or your third, depending on which one becomes the more favourable. You know, mass summation of the bond and experience. You know what I mean? And that's the thing about it. It's like yeah, I'm the person I am now, even though it felt like people would look at my life and say that wasn't what God intended. You get where I'm going? It's, he's not what God intended. if you get where I'm going, like it's like, but that's the illusion. Is that you get what I mean? It's like you just don't realize that God's pushing you to how he's gonna, what he's making, what he wants to make you. You know what I mean? And it changes you. Yeah, like I felt for a long time. I felt like I was dead, and I've been talking about it. I've just been trying to have a little bit more, like, you know, closure from my own emotions and where I'm at. You get what I'm saying? I'm so confused because the direction's just like, go chase the kids in court for 1,000 years and millennia and have all these hardships and lose all this money and all the. It's like, wait, and then the other thing is like, what do I want to do then? Do I go over and I do all the traveling I've always wanted to do? Do I do the investments I wanted to do? Do I finish the dreams and the aspirations I want? You get what I mean? It's like, but that's what the circumference and the circling is. You know what I mean? It's that you're coming closer and closer and closer to where you're meant to be. You know what I mean? You're just getting closer, and that's what the patience is. And even when you get to the day, there's thunder in your bones, bro. There's thunder in your bones, and that I still feel Riley's thunder. I still feel freaking little Kano. All these thunder and lay down the bones, bro. That's thunder in the bones. That's a shout out to the door that is open in heaven. Their voices echo in that they're gone, but they're still resonant, and they remain like it's an unfulfilled um, virtue to just the fact that you are of bones. You see, it's like the unfulfilled virtue of of the life of the bones is calling that thunder of their lives back to their significance. If that sort of is more clarity to you of how I sort of perceive things. You know? It has a lot to do with the thunder in the bones, getting fulfilled. So it's sort of like one of the apostles says. He says, if you truly knew the good things that were in store for your life, you would never share another tear. That's what the revelation of Jesus Christ is, passing from death to life, being one resurrected, is that when he walks and he speaks, it's according to the affirming of his words of his life. That's what's important about it, is that it's the resurrection of his life is the affirming of the words of his life. That's why the power of God resonates with us when we reach out and touch it, like that effigy. You know what I mean? Atonement, attunement. Um, yeah, and that's just a little lightning on, little weathering on the bones, bro. In essence, you look upon the little white hair upon the arm and you glinter it in the light. Right? the little white hair has the little speck, the fleck, and you see the blood, that's actually a symbol of the saved soul, according to the commandment over leprosy. And it's an interesting thing, bro. You know what I mean? That's what it's reflected as. You are to look at your own skin, and just see that little white hair stand on its tip, and then to look upon that little fleck of blood, whether it is a black spot or a red spot or a white spot, and it was an indication of passing of the death to life through suffering, um, you know, not without suffering, through a crucible of endeavor, you know, and that's why when they come in, they come on horses because those who were already the wise and affirmed and elected were always on point and on mark to the charge. You see these analogies here, like why is always these figurances that the spirit speaks in. It's always about the horses. They come on the horses. Watchmen, what are the knights? Horsemen, chariots. And, is it time to raise the spears or lift the hammers? That's the call. You know what I'm saying? Are you raising the spears or the hammers to that efficiency of that charge? You know? That's right. Exactly. And you have to be on both, which is your competence and your discretion. If you walk according to the path of the wisdom and knowledge, that is your stability. And that's the whole methodology of it. It's an instinctual significance of repetitions in order that you understand the confirmation of its ordinance and direction and have confidence to employ its power. And it's an interesting facet that the spirit is speaking to us in that way. It wants to use us to employ its power. You get what I mean? And when you can become the earthen vessel to and let the spirit take hold of your life in that fashion, then of course you're getting that's transformation and that growth that is feeding and edification that you need, your sustenance to your well-being and mental state and fortuitousness as an essence. The fortuitousness as it is the latency of the progression or potential coming towards height and um, peak physical condition. In also that it's the mortifying of the body, but also contrasting the strength and the power that is within the body to complement and aesthetically esteem the prowess of the higher um, excellency of the intellect and its conceptual composition of consensualism. And, I can go on all these sorts of things in that premise because it is the trumpet of Jesus Christ that speaks of this, methodology. But, you know, they're just my methodologies and readings of certain things. So, hey, well, we jumping on, Jim, or what? What are you on? He's going to sleep. I'm jumping in for some multi. Going to bed? All right, brother. No, I really appreciate you, bro. Well, I'm meaning to catch up with you soon. Man, how's it going down Wickham? Eh? Wickham, the place of paladins where my best buddies live all around. And that's where I prosper and rule and reign. I'm telling you, bro, I'm never looking back after moving out to the valleys and seeing this prosperity, bro. I can't. This is exactly the life I've always imagined, but it was just like outside of the realm, you know what I mean? Of me own facets of imagining, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know. It's the scary prospects, bro. And listen, I'll come from the ground down. You know? Having the new lease on life, bro. It's just like, yeah, I was letting too many other things from the other antagonists in my life have an antagonistic effect on me as well. You know when they say you sleep with a prostitute and you become as them, you know. I got this time I'm washed. You know, free, established, renewed. Jesus Christ owns all your sins. The only thing that you need to do now is own your life. And when you start doing that, you know, Tony was even saying to me today he's going to start giving up on the ciggies. Yeah, he's actually, yeah, he's, oh, well, it's bearing fruit, man, because, yeah, he's had positive, attitudes about it, and I'm happy too, because it is a health prospect for everyone, man, you know? We all know, and, but listen, as I said, burning in the elements, we can absorb all deadly poisons and live. You know what I'm saying? It's not a prospect of challenging the parameters. It's just a matter of waking up, taking on the sobriety, and you know, crown of life. Yeah, that's all I'm getting at. Just better take on the crown of life. Yeah, man. I have some noodles. Yeah, bro. I had some chips before, but I'm still hungry. I love having deep fried stuff, eh, bro? It's like having a shop. I make works burgers. I cook up mad big chicken feeds. I'm just like in the oven, bro. If I had the oven, I'd be getting all these pieces going and all that. But I'm gonna concrete all that in. Mad big pizza oven and all that, bro. Hey, I've been watching out a few ideas on how to make a few of them. Yeah, I'm just waiting on bit more um, of a payout and a couple other little things, and yeah, inheritance and should be on the higher end. But I'm not, me riches is in life. I've got the wits not to blow. allotment. You know what I mean? I'm here to establish an empire. I already know how to run a business and make money and be profitable. There's nothing about things that are too difficult besides getting the proper accreditation and having the right money to get that certifications and registry and licensing, which is just hindrances and uh, yeah, we'll take the risk analysis and we'll look at the hazards and the threats and I just want to point out a few different criterions around why the motives of the surveys and all the other things that go on and get thrown into everything. That's right. You know, the ones that hide, like the Jews, and they try and get you, put you to death in public. Just got dark matter on that gun, bro. I wasn't even trying. Let's go. PML. Dark matter now. Oh man, and then it glitched out. Full glitched out. It wasn't going to let me get that streak. I was on like a 30. Dude, right behind the door. Man, I'm so good with the PML, Jim. I'm telling you, man. If I try, I reckon I could probably not die and just probably go on a 50 streak with this gun. It's just so good. It's just because I've been trying to do all the challenges. I haven't even been trying, like, proper. Semi, you know what I mean? It's like, imagine if you just try and pull your full hardness up now. I've been just doing challenges. And I've just been rocking up these mad KDs. But even then, the KDs are deceptive with um, the assist count. You know what I mean? You know, realistically, you don't want that counting. You only want the final kill shot, and then you want assist points on the side. That way, you know exactly who's been. You still get, you still see the impact that they get. You know, but yeah, they've got it sort of balanced, but it's more on. Not only that, when they bring out the next one, all they need to do is add in like a Borderlands open world thing as well with quests. and then like a Far Cry thing as well, sort of thing, where you go in and you know and capture them things, but then they need to just bring in heaps of things like dragons, dinosaurs, robots, monsters, all sorts of mythical creatures. Just really just amp it up, bro, and just start making the maps heaps hectic, like heaps of trains, heaps of boats, heaps of plane up on planes, underwater ones, all the shit that they were doing, but they sort of like they tone it up, then they amp it down, tone it up, amp it down. And then, just need to collaborate all the maps into one. Mate, it's one game that could just be continually enhanced per. You get what I mean? They don't need to keep launching, the whole pitch market and launch thing. We just need to get in on the industry and get in on this technology the same and not sell out in such a fashion. And I'm sure we'll thrive, you know what I mean? But it's one of them things.
Eliminate all threats. Falling behind you, Crimson.
Oh shit, I wanna fucking wash me bowl up. You had some noodle? Oh yeah? Thanks, Brad. I really want milk down some of that Sultana brand, Brad. I want milk so I can have some Sultana brand, eh? That Sultana brand was so good. There's so much in them big packs. Like, how much is cereal these days, Adrian? We're going motorbike riding Friday. I don't know if that's the court day. After going out and seeing all these horse girls on all these horses, just all these beautiful people and getting to know them, it's like everyone's just trying to do their own thing, you know what I mean? Mostly what they have. It's harder, but it's also better because you get more. It takes longer to get it out of you, but once it's here, now it's here.
Not much time left. Put this to bed. All units prepare for exfil. This one's ours.
The day of reckoning has arrived!
What move is this one, Jim? You want to jump over some stakeout, Toad? Yeah, mad. Supreme Lord? Oh, I haven't heard that one yet. No, it sounds pretty good. I like that voice. Tell me a little bit, Jim, if you want to pause it for a sec, or nah. Tell me a little bit about it. Appreciate it, bro. Thanks, bro. Really appreciate it.
Face-off kill order. Keep your team's HVT alive and hunt the enemy down. HVT under fire. Repeat, HVT under fire. Our HVT has been eliminated. Protect our HVT. Enemy HVT is down.
Sounds familiar.
HVT is taking fire. Keep the package safe. They got our HVT. Enemy HVT on site. Take them out. Friendly HVT on site. Keep them safe. HVT under fire. Repeat, HVT under fire. We took out their HVT. Hostile HVT located. Our HVT has been eliminated. Enemy HVT is down. Enemy HVT on site. Take them out. Protect our HVT. HVT is taking fire. Keep the package safe.
Incoming threat.
They got our HVT.
Bro, just coming along. Did you end up getting a Wi-Fi app today? No. That's alright. I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, fucking, if you don't, I'll go around and just catch every bit that was missed. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yeah, bro. I've always thought that time since you've had that operation. And then keep an eye, go back, you know what I mean? You hungry, Heidi? They didn't give you any food out there. You jumping in or nah? You jumping off? All right. You got a chance to watch Alien Earth yet? It really took me back to being part of the alien part of the mind. I was back at being a sperm. I felt my tail and that. I remember having a tail and that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Domination. Pacify the AO, kill team. Securing Charlie.
You know how they go on, oh, we all have, human beings had tails. Fucking this and that, bro. We all, yeah, we were fucking sperm, bro. What does a fucking sperm look like to you, bro? You know what I mean? That's what you are, bro. You just fucking transformed. You're a sperm. You're a little tiny little thing, like a little big bulb. It's like this rotisserie motor on it, a xenomorph. You know, and that's exactly what we are. And that's why everything to us seems alien. You know what I mean? Because we come from such an alien form. You know what I mean? Like we come from that alien form. You know, everything. Oh, alien, alien, alien. We are that alien. You know what I mean? It's just that that's the part. That's the thing. You get what I mean? People don't break out of the alien prefixture of the brain.
Losing B. Taking A. All zones lost. Given up the lead. Alpha secure. Knocking down Charlie. We're losing Alpha. Taking C. Zone Charlie locked down. They're taking C. Losing A. Lost A. Taking Alpha. We're losing Charlie. We lost all zones. We locked down. Taking A. All zones are being locked down. Zone A secure.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get these pistols done, bro. I'm gonna grind all night. Yeah, I don't really have any responsibilities.
We're losing
Taking
Alpha.
care of most things, man. You know what? My cousin got a job pretty much straight away. He went to the job agency and he rang up. He got a job. Hey,
A.
it just depends if they're gonna pay him enough. If he's gonna take it, you know what I mean? Like, it's not hard, man. She's like straight up trying to put us in the mines. Really? It's like, yeah.
All zones lost.
I just couldn't do it at the moment because of the injury, but I'm hoping I'll try and do something. I want to just go straight back to work, but it's the injury. I'm not gonna,
They're taking
I'm
C.
not gonna go any more treatment,
Zone Alpha.
nothing like that. I'm just gonna suffer it out, bro.
Securing B.
It's just how it's gonna have to be. It's gotta be one of them things. Suffer long. Yeah, I never wanna. I don't want to be with someone who got rich.
Securing Alpha.
Did you know? I don't know. It's just something. It's not. It's not much like. You know, everything is the folding of hands. You know what I'm saying? We fold hands. So
Taking Alpha.
it's just something about
Taking Bravo.
having
underway.
less that's better. You know, I don't know. You know, if the plenty comes, the plenty will come. I'll win the lotto or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to courts and suing people. Going through all these things, bro. It's like if I have problems, I don't ring the police. I just go away unless it's like, you know, a big group of people, bikies coming over to your property wanting a bloody stab you with a blade or some rubbish. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Taking A.
strong men. You know the saying, the strong man? Have you ever heard that? The strong man? That's actually the name of Satan,
Securing Zone
if you didn't know that. Satan's name is the
A.
strong man.
Taking C.
I didn't know if you knew that.
We're losing Charlie. Losing Bravo.
Yeah, so when you wrestle, not against flesh and bone, as it were, settle into the next
Securing C.
transformation,
Locking down Bravo.
burning in the elements,
Taking Alpha.
and undressing the clothedness of all tongues, we'll see the Lord's plan pretty clear. And you know what I was doing today? I was sitting out there in the sun. It recalled to me something significant was
Losing A.
when I talk,
Good.
I'm talking as if someone's in the room beside me, you know.
Locking down
I
Charlie.
think that tone's here sometimes and he's not here, you know.
Alpha.
It's not saying that, it's just what I think, it's just recognising, you know, conscientious recognition of others. You get what I'm saying?
Taking A.
Well, just imagine the Christ.
Zone A.
He has a conscious recognition of us. See what I'm saying? But he's also limited to
Taking B.
um,
Losing Alpha.
the same human perceptions that you are. Same as me.
Losing A.
That's what it is to be life in and within himself. Is that his contingent, his contingents is stringent to your contingents as well. You see, the next transformation, if you can link yourself onto Christ, you see what I'm saying. You pretty much piggybacking the next evolution. You see, I'm trying to explain it like this. It's like having that presence in the next room, like your friend. It's a conscientious like recognition. You know what I'm saying? But then it's like on the same hand, you get what I'm saying? There's a hyperbolic vacation to the premises of the closed chamber effect.
Taking
You know, as if it was a hyperbolic closed chamber.
control.
You know what I'm saying? It could exist X amount of parallel entity of expression and dimension, or it exists X amount of entity and expression. You get what I'm saying? What level of entity and expression within the closed chamber is the aspect, amount, proximity of God, of the one. You know what I'm saying? And when I say that, it's like it's what's known as the upper room. It's called the upper room, and when people are going upper room experience, that's what you say is, departing from the body and moving into the spiritual domain or realm, or in um, the realm of dreams and visions as well, is another entity of that expression, that box essence of that expression. You get what I'm saying? Like it's a parody. It's in this parody or prodigy that them expressions become, their vocabulary contingent. You see, it's not that the voice itself is penetrating through the static and the interference of, you get what I mean, the clothedness of the environment, but the environment and its clothedness is a substance throughout the essence of its vocation and expression of its essence in life. And that's what becomes very important about the whole, you know, the box synthesis of, you even see with the Jews, they have the little pendant on their heads, and then it has the little black box that sits upon the pendant, right? And it's one of these, this holy relic. It's the script. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's what the old Jews had, and but see that even when the Muslims tried to invent, the what they did was they copied a lot of the things. You get what I'm saying as well, but it really was just copying our stuff but putting different branding on it. They built that box in Mecca, the stone where Muhammad left the rock in the side, the meteor. Then they carved it into the stone, and then they made it a hemorrhage, and then turned that hemorrhage into the vocation of their um, point of prayer, where all prayer was pointed at Jerusalem beforehand on that Steve, you see. And the Meckians, and as they went through the new, you see, um, they had to mimic Romanic sanitation, saniting. Yeah, I mean, there has to be a level of the society where a certain level of degree of the law and so forth becomes embedded into the populace through its indoctrination and so forth. You get what I'm saying? We are. This is what the Bible reveals to us about how that functionality of medding, of indoctrination outside of the true prefixes of worship consist. You know what I mean? And it's the fact that they become idolic, and that's how things waver outside, because it was never of that prefix. That's why it was to rest upon one, the hyperbolic state. It's a principle of habitation of holy um, vacation and sacred space. Sacred space in itself carries sacred termineering, and it exhibits its own form of termination. You see, it's a death effect. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like I don't know the full intricacies of certain aspects, but you got to understand. I know the visible presentation of it in that it was a remnant of the reflection of how I could bestow it. You know what I mean? And I just look over them and I see them wearing the pendant. I see different other things. It's an aspect
Face off domination.
of
Secure the objective. Take it C. Taking Bravo underway.
it was something I was going to get real deep into. It's going to
We
be
got
like
the
the
lead.
bomb.
Now hold it.
I just sort of I'll have to listen back. You know, I'll catch on. You know where I was going. But
They're taking C.
it was definitely
Losing Alpha.
what we were talking about, Brad. Um,
Losing Bravo. Losing A.
yeah, yeah,
We lost B.
yeah.
Losing Alpha.
All right, I'll try and pull some back.
Securing C.
Oh, the strongman principle. Yeah, that's what I was focused on. The strongman principle. That's why I went so far out because the strongman principle. It's where I'm building the basis of this new message about I'm coming into the land of the age
Securing B.
of Michael's preparation, and well, I couldn't describe it in that until I see it fulfilled.
All
See,
objectives locked down. Hold
this
the
is a
line.
knowing of the attunement of the atonement. Yeah, it's one of them things. It's like it's these spiritual coverings that are of his unclothing
Losing
and
Charlie.
and yeah, that nakedness, bared, upright. It's this funny fashion, but it's the way that the Lord perceives us to be
Securing Zone
bare-butted children,
A.
um,
Taking A.
flourishing about senselessly
Losing B.
without His hand. You know what I mean? To shepherd you and seal it in your head, kid. You know what the dads are. You know what I'm saying? What? Get it? Let it seal it in, mate. You know what I mean? Seal it in your head, mate. That's what it's coming down to. It's coming down to that sort of, uh, you know, reflection of things.
Locking down Bravo.
The revelation comes out, it goes out, it goes out, it goes out, it gets receded
Zone A secure.
and becomes bitter for a season,
We're losing Alpha.
intoxicated. You get what I'm saying? Remember Passion of the Christ come out, all these things come out, you know what I mean? Everyone gets a little taste of a flavour, a fragrance of a savouring learnings. They say that old is better than the new. Have you ever heard that?
Losing A.
They say the old is better than the new. There's a principle behind it. It's that
Lost A.
when God says to Moses, take off your sandals, where you stand is holy ground. And then when you said to me that
Taking
all
C.
ground is holy, And that was true. But what wasn't true was how you said it commonly. You get where I'm going on there? It's a commonality of the ground. That is what defines its sacredness. And when someone obviously meets the conditions of that commonality with the ground and so forth, they can speak to God properly. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you have that exact essence and fragrance of the aspect of God. You can speak that fluently and reverently as people, but we can, as men, speak as oracles of God, and all men can speak as oracles. So you get what I'm saying? It's like, um, it's a commonality of appearance of his I don't know, identity of his incursion into your life. That's sort of what the defining principle of the God particle is. You know what I'm saying? It's like that sacredness is on the land. So when you said to me the other day that all land is sacred, I believed it 100%. I thought, you see what I'm saying? What stuck with me? On your words the most? Said all land was sacred when we're talking about Moses, you know? And out of all things that come to you from the narrative is that you take that view, and that's the best view that you can. You get what I'm saying? That's the one thing that you said that would stick with me the most is that you had that recognition. You know what I mean? But the one thing I'm talking about is like even my own recognition on it is about its commonality with the ground. You know, it's like that has a thing about it. Yeah, that aspect of even the clothedness of our tongues. It's not glorified enough to, you know what I mean? As if it was the palm mutants, as if it was the the world was manifesting to the words around you. You know what I mean? Like that's where it's like how, with Jesus, that's what it was. With him, the world manifested around his words, bro. He wasn't manifesting around the world like we perceive it. You know, like oh, you die and you're dead. No, 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 no. You know, he was manifesting his words in the world, and that's what manifests the world around him. It's a funny thing. I don't know how to get into it in full details, but it has to do with the clothedness of tongues and the commonality and the sacredness of ground. And these are all the challenges that we're coming to of the era. It's like knowing the dawn of the era, you know, your era. And in our era, we've got a lot of the King's Cup to take up. As in, a lot of the King's Cup has been overflown throughout the last 2,000 and a half years of Christ's priesthood in the heaven, which is significant to us. You know, it's symbolic in knowing that that cup has signature in it to the way that you also bear it, and that is what is the fountain of youth, as it were. To have life, never-ending life, is really just to have that joy, that principle that resonates with you as if it was a brand plucking from the fire of all the staining of all the rhetoric and bullshit that was spoken and dressed over your life that was false and deceptive, but it becomes unclothed and unwoven, you know, that it's easy to see that yes, everyone does have a soul. From that regards, you know what I mean? Like they they are exactly who they are meant to be and what they are because that is how God has made them. Even if they are of a different religion or anything, it's still that they're of God's molding and Christ is his instrument of their final craftsmanship, but they're not willing to sort of get get maimed by the hammer of it. And that's what it is. It's more that Christ has been maiming us and hammering us over this era, and we're up at the era where it's like you can grab hold of that cup now and be the final one that dishes it over to Christ like a Charlie Kirk. You know what I mean? That's sort of implosion over your life. You know, when you die, I'll be there chanting hymns and making songs and tributes and things. Bro, I have wrote things for Riley and all that as much as I wanted, but it's, you get what I mean? It was just like a stern, unturned, unturned over, unturned. There's like a resentment that needs to rest until the proper authority is there to fucking address it, you know? Pay, deal with someone, pay the price of someone's murder. You get what I mean? Like, who can do such a thing? Who has such power? But only he who has paid, who owns all sin, who has a soul and owns all sin, and knows how to restore that life back to you now. Where before it was a little bit harder to perceive it until one had dived through, dipped through, if that makes sense. It's yeah. Even God had to dip through, you know what I mean, in order to be able to fully grasp where you know, um, the doors of his employment, like your child. Just when you have a child, that's a door that is open that no man can shut. That's your child, no matter what. That's the fabric of your seed, the fabric of your nature, your identity. No, nothing can ever rob the aspects of your identity from you out of that child. But yet that child can be taken away and can be taught and indoctrinated everything else, you know what I mean? And still not be made known to be your child. It's a very how can that happen in the intricacies of creation and design? You know, where the aspect of the one who seeded you becomes disconnected from the father's principle. You know, like you know what I mean, like breaking of the bond. The bond was broken, and it has to be reconnected. That's why it was all about diving through because, yeah, as I said, in your kids, you see a reflection of yourself. And when you don't see that reflection, you find disappointment. You haven't actually haven't had a child. So, yeah, but I can imagine you would understand what I'm talking about. Even, you know, as a child looking up to your father, you don't want to belittle their expectations over you. You know, it's a matter of making sure that you meet the approval of your peers by the faithfulness of your kin, and then you adopt the tongues and you adopt the uh, stature of that people. You know, station is another one. A station of people, and I think that sort of has a bit to do with it in our stationing. You see, it's like coming up now so close to where it is. You get where I'm going according to our eschatology, and it is something to depend upon. As I was saying, it's leaning back to a bond that was broken that is reknitted. You know, you know in yourself you have the full potential to do anything. You see where you get where I'm going? So why deny in yourself? Why deny that potential that you have in yourself in another? You see what I'm saying? And now just imagine you have the hand to give everyone the full potential, but you can't give them the full potential because if they had the full potential, they just kill or they just murder. You know? So God lets a baby human out in the cosmos, and they step on a dinosaur egg and they destroy your entire fucking timeline. You know what I mean? Like, you get where I'm going? Like, see, just couldn't just put you to the full potential, and you step into some unknown universe and it's fully wiped out and destroyed, and you've accidentally killed an entire friggin' more. You know, like we imagine, like if it was in our own timeline, but just imagine if it was in the God, universal galaxy, multiversal, extra dimensionality, all existence sort of potential that you have. You know what I mean? And you're wandering into somebody else's. You think that's a bit chaotic in the understanding of neighbouring? You know why everyone must love their neighbour? If that was that unlimited potential and unlimited range and causality, and you get where I'm going on that. So what? You're just going to wander into someone else's? Then is it just a matter of just being the bigger one, the strongest, or is it just being like it's the one that is the biggest trends, or is it just the God's power was the actual power that was the one that stuck? You know what I mean? It's like it just sticks with things, and that's why they move the way they do, because it's according to that God's power. Not, you know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be able to like stick and fluctuate or do the thing. You know what I mean? It has to be that it was held there by that. If it was a fundamentalist principle, if it was saying that well, there had to be a ceiling for there to be a roof. It couldn't have been a roof without a floor, and so on and so on. Well, if there was a floor, who made the floor? Where'd the floor come from? So it's a stick by stick man. You know, Colosseum crucible of fighting the lineal passages of dimensionalities of the pattern and structure of the element, not actually being burnt into the fabric and the predestinate element and aspect of it, And that's something that will come to our reverence in the illumination of being the enrichment, again, bonded back to the unified single soul. Nah, you're alright, bro. You're alright. I'll just, philosophy, bro. Yeah, man, you have a good time, bro. Catch up with ya.
HVT located. HVT under fire. Repeat, HVT under fire.
Another one is AI, for example, is like a creation of ours that we want to give life in and of itself. You see, it's the same principle, but it's a God principle. Life in and of itself, what that articulates. You see, and when it's about um,
Our HVT has been eliminated.
the A, exactly. If it was within my power, I would give it that life. But what's to say that we have that power to give it that life now? And that's where I'm saying that is what we don't. In yes, we do have the hyperextension of the extension of the fabric of invincible attributed mechanisms of molecular
Enemy HVT on site. Take them out.
quantum um, bridging of dilemma and dilation, but that is the occurrence and the occasions by the mass and the propulsion of the energies and accelerations, as well as the trajectories and the attraction. Now, when you put all that into them sort of grounds, and you really have to take on the reflection, right? So, yes,
Our HVT has been eliminated.
it's heightened latency of potential in human beings. It's not, yeah, that's what the Christ Cruiser is. It's fully life in and of itself, given under a manifold. It's just unbelievable. Yes, when you live in the seventh spirit.
They got our HVT. You're our HVT. Stay alert. Enemy HVT is down.
No, might as well get into it. I mean, bumming. I haven't even been playing. I've just been messing around.
Activate Cat's protocols and get your asses back to base.
pacified. Move to the LZ. Helo's on the way.
Justice is served.
Face-off kill order. Eliminate the HVT. Protect your own. We've taken the lead. Stay on task. HVT under fire. Repeat, HVT under fire. We took out their HVT. Our HVT has been eliminated. Enemy HVT on site. Take them out. Friendly HVT on site. Keep them safe. HVT is taking fire. Keep the package safe. They got our HVT. Protect our HVT. HVT under fire. Repeat, HVT under fire. Our HVT has been eliminated.